Hey guys, so the results of the poll are in, and as me recording this kind of tells you who won. So clearly you guys wanted a video review. So for those of you, because I saw it was like 1783, so for those of you on the 17%, I'll try and also get something written up as well. So that way you're not left out in case if like you don't have the time or you just prefer reading it as compared to listening to someone talk to you. You know, everyone has their own preferences. So the thing I'm reviewing today is a book that I just recently finished within the last week or two, and it is called The Devil in the White City. Now, the first thing that drew me to this book is the fact that it's based on a historical moment, and not just any historical moment. It's based on the World's Fair in Chicago in 1893. Now, the significance of that is because one, the United States only hosted two World's Fairs, and this one being in Chicago, well, you'll find out history kind of repeats itself a lot when it comes to that city. So, to put it lightly. And what's amazing about it is that it just follows this juxtaposition because you have Burnham, who is the head architect that is in charge of getting the whole thing put together. The exhibits, how good everything's going to look, in what style, and they even obsess over what the shrubbery is going to be around. They obsess down to that detail. So you have the juxtaposition of that. And at the same time, you have America's first serial killer, H.H. Holmes, murdering people during the World's Fair. Now, the book splits up in a pretty good format, I believe, because it kind of starts off at the very end, Burnham as an old man, kind of recollecting over what had happened. Then it goes in a back and forth parallel story, because it shows you how both Burnham and Holmes, what they were doing leading up to the World's Fair. And then the second because the book is in 3 portions. So you have all the lead up, then you have the fair itself, and then the third portion is about what Holmes is doing during the fair and after, when you find out about his body count and all the horrific things he did. And there's kind of like a 3.5, which serves as an epilogue of basically what happened to everybody. So the juxtaposition, as Erik Larson himself, the author, himself pointed out, is he loved just the fact that you have such a beautiful, like majestic city, and at the same time something so horrific happening within its own borders. And for those of you that are wondering, yeah, I can go ahead and spoil the book because it's a historical event. So if you really are that curious, you could always look it up on Wikipedia and find out within a 5-minute Google search. But the reason why I suggest reading this book is because what the author has done is he's basically done all the research for you, and he's put it in a novel form. Like I said, it's split up into multiple parts. You follow 2 essentially main protagonists. And he puts it in a way that is engaging, and you just kind of want to know more. Because one with Burnham, it's just the cluster that everything with the World's Fair was. Everything went wrong. They were on a tight schedule because they were way behind. And things kept breaking, going bad, catching fire, as things do in Chicago back then. And then you saw Holmes, who, the question, if you're like myself, that you'll be asking yourself over and over again is, how does he keep getting away with this? How does he keep, like, charming people when he's clearly a murderer? Because, like, people are just like, well, there's just something not right about him. And you'll be like, yeah, he's a mass murderer. But it's great. And also, and not just because of that element of these 2 people, because it's a World's Fair. I know we really don't have that in today's world because thanks to streaming and technology and, you know, like I'm doing it right now with my phone, companies like Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, and everybody else, they can have their own events. They don't have to play nice with others. Whereas in a World's Fair, everyone has to play nice. So you see these amazing things like the invention of the Ferris wheel. You see the first use of the zipper. I mean, these amazing things that we all take for granted today. I mean, the way the city itself was built helped influence the Lincoln Memorial. And let's be honest, how many historical events can you look into where you have something that has Teddy Roosevelt, Susan B. Anthony, Buffalo Bill, the father of Walt Disney, and not to mention America's first serial killer, all interacting at the same time? I mean, even Mark Twain was there, though I'll leave how he factors into the fair as a surprise because trust me, it'll take you off guard. But yeah, I mean, it's like as you read into it and you see like there's the things that we still use to this day that started here in this fair, it's absolutely fascinating. And so I highly recommend it. I'm not going to do a scoring system or a, out of 5 out of 10 because I don't care. If I tell you that I found it interesting, that means I think you would too. So it's a fascinating read over a part of history that, although kind of gets overlooked, because I don't know about for you guys, but growing up with American history, you go through the Reconstruction and then you kind of just skip forward to World War I. So that means events like the Chicago's World Fair get skipped over. So because of that, a book like this is absolutely fascinating because you kind of get filled in on those years that don't really talk about, that no one really talks about a whole lot, despite how influential it was to all of American culture. So I'd also say read it because apparently Leonardo DiCaprio has the movie rights to it. He's got Martin Scorsese to be the director. And so with all the various little tidbits and trivia points that get thrown in here, I guarantee that everything in this book will make it into the movie. So do yourself a favor, read it so you know what to expect. So you see the greatness that is the White City, while you deal with a serial killer who makes a murder hotel that would make Resident Evil developers happy, and in what is just a very fascinating tale. So, like I said, guys, that's the review. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and please let me know comments, whether it be on the Facebook page, send me something on Twitter, Instagram, smoke signal, I don't care. Just tell me how you felt, because I do like doing these reviews. I have another book I would like to review, Console Wars. I mean, as you can see, it's a much thicker book, so it'll take a little bit longer to get through everything, which is about the war between Sega and Nintendo. So I would love to review that. Also TV shows and movies and stuff, because part of acting and stuff is I have to keep up with all that. So I'm watching media all the time and reading. So I'd love to be able to give my 2 cents on it if y'all so care to hear that. So yeah, let me know. Tell me likes, dislikes, if you agree with me, disagree with me, because I'm open to interpretation. You might think the book sucks. I don't know. So tell me what you think, and let me know if you want more reviews like this. Thanks, guys.